Hello folks, today I'm going to try and show you a way to make very inexpensive scenery using a tile scrubber. I kind of named this Scrubery instead of shrubbery. Isn't that clever? Okay, what you do is, well, what I do, you can do whatever you want, but what I do is I cut this scrubber into approximately 1/2 inch, my stapler here is about 1/2 inch wide, into roughly 1/2 inch strips. Pays to have a pair of nice heavy-duty scissors, because this stuff is not really real easy to cut. Okay, here you go. You get a strip that looks like that, and this, as you can see, there is room for about 5 or 6 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, about 6 of them on here, which means it can go a very long way. Now, you can use these like a hedgerow. You can even, if you want, you can even cut this in half to make a smaller hedgerow. I can show you how to do that later. But these make a nice hedgerow in front of a building. And I'll show you some photos, or I'll include some photos with it so you can see. But if you want to make a smaller one, you can just cut it in half, approximately. You don't really have to measure anything with this stuff. And you can put it, say, on both sides of the door of a building or a small house. Now, what I like to do, too, is to make small shrubs. And you can make them about maybe 1 inch or 3/4 of an inch. Here I have, I'll be getting 4 shrubs out of this piece. And you can kind of mold this a little bit here and there if you have to. What you really want to be able to do is have it stand up like that. So you may have to push it down a little bit to mold it a little, or you could, if it's a little off on one side, as you cut across the full size one, you'll notice that it may get a little slanted here and there, so you may have to just kind of trim it. You can use scissors like this, whoops, or scissors like this to trim it. And of course, again, you can trim it any way you want, but what I like to do is to try to make, if you've ever seen those little Canadian evergreens, Canadian balsams I think they are, they're a little bit pointy, and these kind of look just like them. So let's see if I can show you this. I start down in the corner and trim up. If you've ever seen these little type of shrubs at trade shows, they can get pricey. They can cost you a couple of dollars a piece. Now, this is a kind of a real cheap, quick way to make a whole bunch of them. So here you go. Let's see if I can kind of bent that up a little bit, but and if it doesn't come out just right, you can mold it up a little bit. Oops. So it gets like that. Now you might want to glue these down on, if you have pre-made scenery like mountains and so forth. You could take a little Eileen's tack it over and over again glue, which rubs right off when you don't want it anymore. And you can glue these down, or you can glue them on a thin strip like a tongue depressor or something and paint that green. And the little pieces that I cut off, I don't throw them away, because you can use these if you have ballast on your track and you want some what looks like little weeds and plants that are growing on the ballast or in between the tracks. You can use these little cut off pieces and you don't have to throw them away. I'll just take them and throw them into a little cup or something and hold on to them. So you can do all of these like that. And you know what? You don't have to make them pointy either. Actually, you can almost leave them like that, because from a distance, you really can't notice. But also what you could do is just trim off the tops a little bit to make them look like a rounded, if you were trimming a hedge. Heck, I think you can even, I forgot what they call it when you make them all different shapes, but you could even do that. Topiary, that's what I was trying to think of. You can even shape them like topiary. So that makes a little shrub, and you can cut it down if you want. If it's too tall, you can cut them down. And you can even make taller trees out of them, okay? But you may have to use a piece of wood to glue it down to, because it'll probably tip over. But you can make a taller tree, and again, you can cut it and shape it any way you want, or you can take some branches from outside and glue the part that you cut off. Well, those trim pieces, you can glue them on some branches and make little trees. But I haven't done that. I've just been using the shrubs. And I'll get some pictures to show you and include them in with the video. But I'll also have a little file piece that I'll include, and I can post that inside the file sections of a group on Facebook or something. And that's about it. Thanks for watching. More of a pointy top one, like a Canadian balsam. Here's some hedges and some shrub, and a shrub in front of the diner, front of the trailer. It's a little bit large. You can see the hedges can be trimmed to different sizes. As I stated before, if you want to put it on some pre-made scenery that you already have, here's a little kind of a mountain I made on my layout. And if you want, you can glue them down so that they're not always falling off when the vibrations of the train come around. But they look pretty good. I mean, the more you make, probably, and the better you get at it. I'm not so great at it. I just started doing it. But they're starting to look better. Post office with some small shrubs in front. Here's a few shrubs along the sidewalk of my little mini mall. And you can see as you walk down the street the shrubs. So, hopefully you get the idea. And like I said, I haven't made that many myself, but I just thought I'd pass the idea along. Especially now, everything is so expensive. So you can, for a few dollars, I think you get two refills, two of those scrub brush refills, and you can use no-name brand ones. But they only cost about maybe $3 or $3.50 for two, and you can make an awful lot of shrubs out of two of them. And most of what I just showed you on my train layout was made with just one, and I saved the one for the video, so I haven't even used those yet. Okay, again, thanks for watching part 2.